Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, finally, I get to see Sword Hero. Kind of been waiting for a while, simply because I was not in the mood to sleep for some reason, so I thought waiting for this would be a better chance of getting in early. But this week's episode was definitely a nice self-contained like classic of an episode, and quite a bit of character development in this grand scheme of just allowing us to know what both sidekick characters kind of bring to the table as of right now. Not to mention the really cool little seed arc that or arc the little seed that grows into what it becomes this week's was actually pretty fire. With our shield hero getting something very good out of it overall, not to mention we kind of are putting we're putting the shield hero keeps putting himself on the map, and as of right now people already have somehow heard the rumors of him, somehow have you know um, some way somehow figured out that this person is traveling, and they didn't even know that whoever this heavenly howl is, traveling was the shield hero at this moment. So in these types of shows where they start to give us this new perspective that characters are finding for our main character anyway, uh, not even just like the people with us, because no one's really had a problem with the demi-humans that he's rocking with, not to mention the new little angel that we have on our side. So it really comes down to the shield hero, and kind of where every time he shows up and does something, everybody gets kind of tied up in a knot or hates on whatever he's trying to accomplish. But now that people are running into problems that are being created not only by the monsters, not only by the waves, but also now by other heroes, where we had last week where we go inside of this dungeon or we go inside of a cave that was supposedly contained a treasure, and when they get in there, they have to fight even a monster, almost as if someone had not completed this place, and there should have still been some type of reward to reap at the end of it all. But to come to find out that all there really was an empty chest of whoever already got to collect it was relatively bittersweet. But we traveled now to the village that treasure would have contained. We find it in this village, and we find out very quickly that it is the big reason why this village is in a problem, or in a rut, or at just this dire moment that it's in right now, is because of this seed that's been planted by the spear hero of all people, man. It's almost as if he is the cleanup crew behind all these heroes, and because of that, he's not going to really hear any complaints. He's not going to hear anything like, oh, that village where you planted a seed? Yeah, everybody died. You know what he's going to hear about that is, that place where you planted the seed? Yeah, everybody's prospering because they can sell some new fruit that hasn't been seen or heard of, and now that it's coming out of their village, they're going to be a huge hit in that market, and then they can start using the money they make from that into whatever else. So just by the shield hero showing up and practically, fixing everything that he can, not to mention having the best weapon of all times, he's pretty much the person who's supposed to be the champion of the people. And it's funny that the way that he's kicked out, the way that he has the chip on his shoulder, kind of shows you just how much dedication he had to not only pushing himself to a further limit, but to prove to the world, I feel like, or like this world anyway, that whoever they are thinking he might be, or whoever he could become in the future, is all based on now the encounters that he has. And as of the end of this episode, it sounds like East might just be one of those encounters that we see maybe a dramatic turn of events for our character, which I'm kind of afraid of because for some reason they said all of the medicine has been flying off the shelves in the East. Not to mention that, they're pretty much just quoting that whatever's happening over there is not good and probably going to continue to stay that way for a bit unless someone figures out what's going on, which kind of seems like his calling. Not only does he not really have that many places to go on his list, I feel like, of places to journey to, simply because he doesn't know anything about this world. Where is he going to journey to if he has no idea of, what's actually exist, or what place would be more prosperous to travel to because he can help in certain ways. Not to mention that this town would have been perfectly like a normal town if it wasn't for the other guy who showed up and kind of wrecked it for everybody. So, these are the things you gotta really love about a show that can change the outcome of someone's situation dramatically simply because of people who are messing up not only on their own accord, but also messing up in the sense of hurting people's likelihoods after leaving, and leaving a giant mess into the hands of the people who really don't deserve to deal with something like that. Taking a legendary treasure, planting it, and then just leaving. Not to mention, not only leaving, the shield hero also takes all of the money, the goods and stuff from this place before leaving, just like how his little redhead devil wanted to beforehand and got completely stumped out in the other village. So clearly, whoever, or the queen, I feel like, is the person who did this, who stopped her the last time. I feel like that is the true only way that we're going to see any real types of stopping of that push in the area that she could control. Now that she's traveled out a little bit further with the with the spear hero, which I think is another part of the king's overall plan for his daughter, is to spread out, spread the name of the king, spread the power of his name and stuff like that amongst further out villagers who maybe they don't get to get the, I don't know, just as much as the nearer neighboring company or neighbors and villagers. So to see all of this kind of transpiring in the background and through the communications of what we can pick up throughout small pieces of this episode, I think it's the most fun part of the storytelling for me, because every word kind of starts to hold a new weight when they start to tie things together to the next scenes and stuff like that. So pretty much what we get here is we're learning what these women want, and can we just give a moment for how strong and powerful the women are in this show? I mean, it's kind of obvious that they're supposed to be strong simply because of our hero's situation, and just how I've been telling some people that you don't need an overpowered main character to have a good show. And there was a TV show that, or an anime that did that very well, that I hadn't even seen that done, where the character was he seemed overpowered, but only in strategy. Like, he couldn't go out in war and actually fight with his own soldiers, but when it came down to knowing stuff like different formations to take and pincer attacks and all these different things that would change the tide of a whole entire battle instead of just one fight, he was broken in that regard. So in this show, it's the regard that he is broken in defense, and not to mention in just the environmentalist. He has now learned to manipulate plant life so well that once it was manipulated, it couldn't turn into a monster, but it turned into the fruit I was talking about selling. So imagine seeing a monster so deadly that you and your party are actually going at it and seeing it regenerate, you are intimidated. Not to mention, I kind of want to ask what if the people who are reading the manga, so be careful if you guys don't want spoilers, but for the people who are reading the manga or light novel, how does it occur, or how does this part pan out? Because from what I'm seeing here, in the scene of him pretty much just walking up to the same monster that our girl drops the herb, or like the new antidote to this parasite's, the seed, and somehow, some way, it doesn't kill it as strongly and as potently as when the shield hero does it himself, almost as if someone else is doing it, he can't enchant, it's not as enchanted as it should be, or something along those lines. So I'm really interested in that aspect of just why he was so capable of, walking through these branches all of a sudden, not to mention they were completely getting destroyed so quickly they couldn't regenerate anymore. Um, he did say it was like last time where he kind of had the concoction that he wanted to use. He poured some of it on the thing and learned to like buff whatever was negative and hurting it. So he like made that aspect of the potion stronger. So I'm not truly sure that's what happened. It's not like they went into explicit details because this man don't care about anybody at this point. He really just has been going through the motions, man, and I feel so bad for the shield hero. But at the same time, this is why he is such a great character, is because of what he's gone through, because of the hardship he's dealt with, and to have two people on his side that are actually putting 110% faith in him, not to mention expecting greatness out of him, just pushes him that much further, in my opinion, to being a person that anyone can look up to, and see how he walks and carries himself. He never ever turns back in this show, because whatever he does, he knows it's to help, even if he is taking a lot of money whenever he can, or a lot of the goods whenever he can. It's only to cover up the fact that he's helping a lot more than every other hero in this show. And I think that that is a very powerful push. And not to mention, the next title of the show is Curse Shield, and we've heard this man cursing the shield. We also seen in the arena when he started banging the shield and wanting the shield to be away from him, it started to react as if it's alive, and that would make the most sense, because how are you dropping something in a shield and it's analyzing it so deeply that it's creating skills catered to it? And another moment, the shields that this man have are absolutely phenomenal, and I am so mad we don't get to see some of them that he's even earning, or how he could have earned them. But I'm just glad we at least get to see them, man. These shields are so dope. And that's me coming at it as a paladin from Final Fantasy XIV, so I love me some shields, and these are some dope shields. So with all that being said, my anime people, thank you guys so much for the support. You know your boy gonna be grinding hard, just trying to get these content out, trying to be as quickly and get some, dope stuff in it while I'm at it. So with everything being said and done in this week's episode, I'm pretty sure I love the characters that we're riding with that much more, and I hate the spear hero that much more. It's weird. I barely saw him and I started to hate him somehow even more this week than I already did. Isn't that weird? But overall, man, this show is an absolute beast, and I honestly don't know if we get the like towards the end game of him in this world and where it could go, in the sense of would he leave or would he stay? and all this type of stuff, or is it a lie that they can actually be teleported home after the waves are done? You know, stuff like that is what I look forward to in the overall narrative of the story. But as of right now, I love that the show is generally taking its time and being a show that can just show us that the world that they're in is colorful and the people that they are around are the better portion of the show than just the overall battles and monsters that they're trying to introduce us to. So let me know what you guys are feeling about the Rise of the Shield Hero. Are you guys loving it, hating it, middle, you don't care for it, haven't even watched it, and you're just checking out the boys' videos because you're a great supporter? Let me know. It don't matter. I'll comment back. You guys are amazing. I hope you have a good day. Seeing how it is Wednesday, like 8 o'clock here, and I stayed up all day and night from yesterday. I hope your guys' day is good because my day is probably going to end relatively sooner than later. But alright, my anime people, I hope you have an awesome one, and I will talk to you later. Alright, peace.